It's your boy T-Bear here in Reaction. Today is Films Friday. Now we're about to get into the meat and potato Films Friday. That is the Dead Meat Kill Count. And this week is Franchise Week as we're continuing the voted Alien Predator franchise. So we're gonna do everything chronological order. So last franchise week we did Alien. This week we'll do Aliens, the sequel that came out in 1986. And next week I'm gonna order. So that means next franchise week we'll be doing Predator. So without further ado, Aliens came out in 1986 though. Help like continue the tradition of the awesome, one of the most extraordinary films about alien creatures out right now. Became a cultural phenomenon in the sci-fi scene to become a pop culture with their video games, the crossover with Predator, as well as both being featured on Mortal Kombat X as well too. So without further ado, let's check out Aliens or Aliens 2, which came out in 1986. Without further ado, and for the record, this is one of James' earlier kill counts though, so it won't have the James energy we grew and fell in love with. So without further ado, let's still check it out.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Aliens, the 1980s.
Alright, before that, I forgot that I said it on the graphic.
86 sequel to Alien, written and directed by James Cameron. Aliens follows Ellen Ripley after she's rescued from hypersleep and brought back to civilization. She ends up joining a marine mission to the same planetoid she found the original alien on, determined to destroy the species once and for all. Cameron wrote this sequel to focus, quote, more on terror, less on horror, and the change in tone is apparent. This is much more an action sci-fi film than the quiet, dreadful stalking of the original, serving as a sort of allegory for the Vietnam War, with technologically superior and confident Marines getting outmatched by what they see as an inferior enemy. Aliens is like the original though, and that's a really freaking good movie. It got 7 Academy Award nominations, including one for Sigourney Weaver, which is a rarity for a genre film like this. And of course, it's got way more aliens, which means way more kills. So let's find out how many and get to them.
Here we go. Like, he goes straight to the point.
The movie begins in space. Ripley's still fast asleep when her shuttle gets picked up by another ship. A movie projector-looking robot comes in and finds her and Jonesy in the middle of a damn good cuddle sesh. Space cat. He's napping in space. Then Ripley turns into Mother Earth because now she's back home. Or, you know, close enough. She's at Gateway Station, which orbits Earth, and it turns out she's doing okay. She gets a visit from Jonesy and this dude Carter Burke, who says he works for Weyland-Yutani, the shadowy company referenced in the original film.
But don't let that fool you. I'm really an okay guy.
Ripley is skeptical. He also drops the bombshell that she's been in stasis for 57 years, having shot past the core systems and only picked up by a deep salvage team by chance. Then she starts convulsing in a very John Hurdian manner and lifts up her shirt to find that she is with Alien, but not really, since it's just a dream. Well, more like a nightmare.
That's what that came from. I've been seeing that. That was made to a meme though, so that was the meme they had right there.
Jonesy was all pissed off at her in it, but no worries. In the waking world, Jonesy loves her just as much as ever. Good kitty. Good time to point out I'm once again working from the theatrical cut, so nothing about Ripley's dead daughter or the colonist scenes are going to be in here. During a meeting with company higher-ups, they play an in memoriam PowerPoint for the Nostromo crew and yell at Ripley for blowing up that expensive payload they had been tugging. The ship logs show how it landed on LV-426, the name given to the planetoid with the Wishbone ship, but Corporate Man says there was no evidence of an alien and that this supposed species has never been reported before. When Ripley tells him to check it out for himself, he says there's no need because colonists have been terraforming it for
At least he got a little bit of the energy with the jokes.
20 years now with no complaints. After some time, Ripley gets a visit.
Hi, Ripley. This is Lieutenant Gorman of the Colonial Marine Corps.
Burke gets his way back in by saying they've lost contact with the colonists on LV-426 and that they want Ripley to go with him, Lieutenant Gorman, and a group of Marines to see what's going on. She says no at first, but later on hits up Burke on Omegle to tell him she'll go, as long as the mission is to destroy the alien.
That's the plan. You have my word on it.
Alright, she's in. She leaves Jonesy behind and blasts into space again, where there's a whole list of future victims sleeping in hibernation beds. They wake up and get straight to character work, chomping on cigars and doing pull-ups to display physical fortitude. The crew this time around is a lot bigger than an Alien, but let's meet the important characters real fast. The sergeant of the grunts is Apone, who's got a voice that sounds like it's straight from an old LP.
Fall in, people, come on.
Corporal Hicks is the generic-looking dude who winds up being real important. Private Vasquez is this tough lady grunt, and she has a close relationship with fellow big gunner Drake, like the please slap me a little harder kind. The late Bill Paxton plays Hudson, an outspoken private whose big mouth gets him in trouble when he asks technician Bishop to do a knife trick. As Drake holds Hudson in place, Bishop gets dancing. Bishop heads back over to the grown-ups table with Burke and Gorman, where Ripley learns that he's a synthetic, aka an android.
For the term artificial person myself.
Okay, artificial person. Whatever the term is, Ripley ain't having it, having formed a bit of a prejudice from that whole magazine-to-the-mouth ordeal with Ash. During a mission briefing, newbie Lieutenant Gorman fails to obtain the respect from his grunts, and Ripley warns them all about the xenomorph's efficiency. The Marines start loading up for the mission with this power loader suit that was done with all practical effects, so it looks frickin' amazing. Things so fine, Ripley can't help but slide into it real nice and show off her skills operating it, which wins the respect of Apone and Hicks. They're gonna be traveling down to the planet in an APC designed by Lucius Fox, so they load into it and Bishop drives it onto the shuttle piloted by Corporal Farrow and Private Spunkmeyer. The shuttle drops from the ship and breaks through the newly formed atmosphere of LV-426 with the line from Farrow that was later used in StarCraft.
We're in the pipe, 5 by 5.
I don't know what that means, but I played a lot of StarCraft as a kid, and that was exciting to hear. During their descent, Gorman reveals that this is only his second actual mission, provoking more ire from his subordinates. Farrow drops the APC off and flies away, and the Marines unload to check out the colony, named Hadley's Hope, leaving the less combat-inclined crew to watch on monitors. Inside the colony, things look pretty rough, and although there are no life forms or movement getting picked up by their sensors, they do find evidence of nastiness in the form of a hole in the floor, which corroborates Ripley's tale of the alien.
Acid for blood.
Gorman says the area is secure, and despite Ripley being like, nah, it ain't, they head inside anyway, finding evidence of a barrier and a last stand against whatever attack REKT wrecked this place. They do find a pretty big clue in the form of a bunch of face huggers and tubes, kept there for study by the colonists. 2 of them are still alive, giving us a good Oh shit, am I allowed to show this? It looks like a P coming out of a V. Yeah, let's just cover that up from now on. Their motion trackers finally pick something up, and it turns out to be a feral-looking kid who Ripley follows into a hiding place that's so messy it might very well have a Dianoga hanging out down there. The girl's name is Rebecca, but her friends call her Newt. Tell us about your family, Newt.
They're dead. All right, can I go now?
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. They scan for data transmitters that all the colonists had implanted in them and locate them all in a single location on the 3rd sublevel. They get down there and either the colonists had some weird interior decorators or they've got an alien problem. Ripley realizes that they're directly underneath the cooling system for the colony's fusion reactor and that any breach would cause a nuclear meltdown. So Apone collects everyone's rounds, even though a few little troublemakers hold on to some contraband for themselves, just in case. They get to their target destination and find 2 bodies in cocoons. They see these 2 clearly, let's say it's 1 dude and 1 lady, so I'll go ahead and add them to the list. But just so you know, I won't be including the 150-odd colonists who must have been killed off screen. Nor will I include dead aliens like these facehugger corpses or any of the multitudes of xenomorph warriors that get killed throughout this movie. I'm doing these things to have fun and make jokes, guys, not stare at slow motion footage and count exploding aliens all day. But don't worry, there are still plenty of kills to count, like this lady who wakes up and begs the Marines to kill her. They don't listen, and instead a chestburster fulfills her request, popping out through her torso for a great little cameo, since this will be the only time we see a chestburster in this movie. They flame torch the hell out of that mess and kill the chestburster, so everything's good, right? Nah, dog, you got a real bad infestation of aliens that come out of the walls and abduct Private Dietrich, who winds up shooting off her Frost on fire, somewhat ironically. He falls over a ledge to his death many levels below. Looks like Frost got toasty. Dietrich is pulled up into the ceiling, and while they mention later that she's still showing signs of life on her measurement stuff, I'm gonna put her on the kill count here since it's the last time we see her. Amidst all
Which one's I'm trying to remember which one was Dietrich. So was that the tough chick? Yeah, the tough chick. No, it's a different lady. Okay, not the tough chick. It's a different lady on there. And I'm trying to remember Frost was Frost the black guy, the other black guy they did in the show. Yeah, Pryor Frost, the other black guy. Yeah, Rico Ross. Oh yeah, I be seeing him stuff though. What else? I'm trying. He been on a lot of stuff I think of. But yeah, wow. But yeah.
all the chaos going on, a pack with live ammunition is caught in the fire. It explodes and sends Private Crow across the room, breaking his neck and killing him unceremoniously, but let's be real, we're just thinning the herd right now. Same case with Private Wierzbowski, who is killed off screen as Hicks calls after him. Why'd they name that guy Wierzbowski if they knew Hicks was gonna have to call out for him?
Wierzbowski! Wierzbowski!
Doesn't quite roll off the tongue. Gorman tries to take control over the Marines and stop their firing, but it doesn't do any good. Even Apone has a hard time getting them under control, especially after an alien descends and grabs him. His monitor goes out and I'm chalking him up on the list, but again, like Dietrich, it sounds like the alien saved him for later and he likely wound up getting chest bursted. Frustrated with Gorman's ineptitude, Ripley takes the wheel because apparently she's Batmobile certified. She breaks the walls down, Chris Jericho style, so the grunts can all get rescued. But on their way out, Vasquez shoots a xenomorph that explodes and sprays Drake with his acid. melting his face and putting him down for the 8th kill of the movie. Sad day for Vasquez. I really like their macho relationship that maybe was romantic, question mark. The remaining grunts get the heck out of there, and during Ripley's road rage, she ends up running over a xenomorph and crushing his head, which I only include here because it's dope as hell. Now that they're safe, Bill Paxton feels free to let loose with his character acting.
Dear Lord Jesus, this ain't happening, man. This can't be
Yeah, but yeah, crazy about the Shout Alpo. Like I seen this, and I see the Shout Alpo like memes and stuff. I did not know it was from Aliens. Although like I whole time though like some Jamaican rapper, but I did not know that was part. He's part of this.
happening, man. This isn't happening.
Ripley says she wants to take off and nuke the planet.
It's the only way to be sure.
But Burke is an upstanding capitalist and doesn't want to destroy all the valuable equipment here. Ripley points out Corporal Hicks is now in charge since the higher-ranking officers are all alien food, and he's more than happy to go with Ripley's plan.
It's the only way to be sure.
They call Pharaoh and ask for an evac, so she and Spunkmeyer prepare to take off. He finds some goop on the ramp, and I ain't talking about beauty products by Gwyneth Paltrow. This is the last shot we see of Spunky, so I'll add him to the list right now, because in a second, Pharaoh's gonna call for him on the radio and get no response. The Corporal doesn't Pharaoh much better, because on her way to the evac point, a xenomorph just waltzes into the room.
Oh!
Grab a weapon to do anything about it, he kills her. And if it's one stereotype we all know is true, it's that xenomorphs are lousy pilots, as evidenced when the shuttle crashes and burns, which pretty much takes away any hope from the survivors.
That's it, man. Game over, man.
Ripley and Co.
That's what the line right there. Game over, man.
Down and take stock of their supplies, knowing it's going to take 17 days for another evac.
Hey man, now I kept wondering why he looks familiar. The guy right there. Let me see. Ain't he from oh god, of course it won't come. Ain't he from Terminator? Ain't that the homie from Terminator? Let me see. Ain't he from Terminator? Yup, that's Michael Bang. Yup, as Kyle Reese. Yup.
To come for that. They find a way to secure their location by welding certain doors shut, and Hicks is so impressed by Ripley's badassery, he gives her a friendship bracelet which acts as a locator. But later on, when Ripley's putting Newt to bed, she re-gifts the bracelet to her. Rude. Ripley logics out that the aliens would need a facehugger for each colonist, and that each facehugger comes from an egg.
So who's laying these eggs?
When she tells Bishop to destroy the remaining facehuggers, he tells her Burke explicitly ordered him not to so they could bring them home for profit. Also, Ripley finds out that Burke was the one who sent the colonists out to the Wishbone ship in the first place, single-handedly kicking off the destruction of Hadley's Hope. Bishop points out some emergency venting that means the fusion cooling system was damaged by the ship's crash, so in 4 hours there's going to be a nuke going off in their labs. There is another shuttle on board their spaceship, but the only working equipment to send a signal up there is far away, on the other side of the colony. So Bishop takes the opportunity to prove how not Ash he is by volunteering to crawl his ass down this pipeline like he's Android Dufresne. When he emerges out the other side, he plugs into a satellite dish to call up to the ship in orbit and remote pilot the other shuttle out of its bay. After she has a romantic gun training session with Hicks, Ripley checks in on Newt and has a slumber party with her under the bed. She wakes up later to see a mess on the ground, meaning someone's been creeping in the bedroom. Next thing you know, a facehugger attacks her, and although she puts it to bed for a mo, she's unable to get out since the doors to her room appear to be locked, and the windows are pretty chair-proof. Her attempts at signaling the others through the Newt monitor in the room are ignored and turned off by one Carter J. Burke, who at this point has completed a full heel turn. Ripley smartly gets everyone's attention by triggering the fire alarms, but the facehugger's still trying to get that thrusty, and probably would have gotten it if not for Hicks busting through the window, and, along with the other Marines, saving her. Ripley figures out that Burke set the facehuggers loose on her and Newt to impregnate them and get alien embryos back home to make them dollars. They're all ready to execute him when the lights go out, which is our cue for the last big act to begin. Ripley realizes the aliens have taken a higher path. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. The aliens drop down and there's a huge firefight, which of course Burke runs from, locking the door behind him to block out the others. Hudson takes down a whole bunch of aliens before one pops up from the floor and drags him down, pulling him away. Come here! Off screen and render the Marines at least 50% quiet.
And which one? Was that Bill Paxton, Hudson?
Game over, man. While he's doing his coward's retreat, Burke opens another door to find a badass Xenomamma Jamma, bares his teeth, and eats him off screen. Pretty disappointing. I think everyone wanted to watch this guy suffer. Newt has the Marines go through the air ducts to escape, but the Xenomorphs follow, and even though Vasquez is able to take a bunch down with her badassery and firepower, an acid blast critically slows her down. Gorman goes back to save her, but when he runs out of ammo, there's only one thing left to do. The two Marines bond over a game of upper hand on Gorman's grenade and set off an explosion that instantly kills the two of them together, as well as a couple Xenomorphs. The blast knocks knocks Newt down this windmill thing, and she winds up sliding down a little Newt chute, far from safe hands. Hicks is like, good thing you regifted my friendship bracelet, because now they can use it to locate her. They find her under a floor grate, but before they can saw through it to rescue her from what surely must be some nasty stinky water, an alien rises up from it and abducts Newt, leaving nothing behind but the head of her little doll. No! Jeez, Ripley, it's just a doll. Calm down. On their way out, Hicks shoots one more alien in the face and suffers from the resulting acid blast. This pretty much decommissions the guy for the rest of the movie, which is a bit of a bummer, but what are you gonna do with a chest full of acid? Bishop lands the new shuttle and the three of them get aboard, then Ripley makes the android pilot it back into the colony so she can arm herself up with a duct-taped super weapon and go save Newt. She takes an elevator down to sub-level 2, and I just want to point out that the lift automatically goes back up behind her. It'll help things make sense later. She eventually finds the friendship bracelet, sans one Newt, and thinks the worst has happened. But Newt's just chilling in a resin hammock. No worries. She's also getting a graphic sex ed experience when she watches an egg hatch and sees a nasty little facehugger start climbing out. She screams, which Ripley hears, and follows to her cocoon, tearing away the webbing and saving that little girl from the horrors of an alien education. On their way out, they find themselves smack dab in the middle of an alien's maternity ward. There's a bunch of eggs all around them, apparently each one deposited by this nasty looking egg sac thing, and at the end of that egg sac is Big Mama Xenomorph, Queen Bitch herself. The sight of her puts Ripley's heart in the basement. Her weekend's at an all-time low. Warrior Xenomorphs start approaching, so Ripley shows the Queen what her flamethrower can do and points it threateningly at her eggs. The Queen understands and somehow signals to the other aliens to back the fuck off. Ripley starts to retreat, but when she sees another egg hatch, she says fuck it and starts torching everything in sight, which really upsets the Queen. So much so that after Ripley and Newt escape the Hive room, the Queen just detaches herself from her birthing tube to give chase. Ripley makes it back to the elevators and calls both of them down. The Queen comes around the corner and watches as Ripley makes her escape on the first elevator. When the second elevator comes down and opens its doors, Queen's all, don't mind if I do. Ripley gets up to the platform only to find that Bishop and the shuttle are gone. The place starts falling apart and the second elevator starts automatically returning to the platform just like earlier. Package here for Ripley. Someone order an alien queen? Before Ripley can sign for it, Bishop returns with the shuttle and extends a staircase that Newt and Ripley climb up. The ship gets knocked around a bit and we see one of the 3 landing gears fold up. We don't see the other 2. Bishop pilots the shuttle away right as the nuclear blast goes off, ending Harper's hope once and for all and giving the survivors the mistaken belief that their ordeal is over. Mistaken because of course Big Mama stowed away on that landing gear, as they learn when Bishop goes through the back and spews out milk all over everyone. Nasty, dude. The alien queen lifts him up and then tears him straight in half, sending his torso sliding across the floor. This would definitely be the golden chainsaw if it actually killed him, but it didn't. Sorry, Queen. Chainsaws are for closers. Newt hides under a floor panel as Ripley gets behind a big door, and when the Queen starts tearing off the floor grates to get at Newt, Ripley returns with a power loader mech suit and the most memorable line of the movie.
Get away from her, you bitch!
They have a pretty kick-ass fight that involves a lot of mechanized grappling and royal tail whipping, and Queen Alien almost gets Ripley with her second mouth. But eventually, Ripley is able to open the pod bay doors, and drop the Queen right down into it. Too bad the AQ latches onto her and drags her down too. Ripley starts escaping and opens the door into space, which creates a vacuum that starts sucking everything out. Newt, half a bishop, the mech suit, everything must go! The alien queen tries to grab onto Ripley's kicks, but Ripley was done with that pair anyway, so off comes the shoe and out goes the alien queen, getting sucked into outer space just like the alien drone did in the original. Bishop saves Newt from a similar fate, and Ripley closes the pod bay doors, so the 3 of them can lie there in victory. Bishop is bagged like dry cleaning, and he and Hicks are put under in the stasis beds. After one last sweet little goodnight, Ripley and Newt join them as well. Best not sleep on this kill count though, because this sequel more than doubled the kills of the original.
Yep.
How many exactly? Let's find out and get to the numbers.
Here we go.
By my count, 15 humans died in Aliens. 10 of them were male and 5 were female, meaning there was a 2-to-1 ratio of dudes to ladies dying. With the theatrical cut's runtime of 137 minutes, that comes out to a kill on average every 9.13 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to the lady colonist they found still alive. Most of these kills are quick and dark or off screen, so I'ma just fall back on the old chest bursting classic. Dull machete goes to Burke, hands down. All I wanted was to see this guy have a gnarly death, and goddamn did they disappoint. And that's it. Released in 1986, 7 years after the original, Aliens is sometimes considered the superior film, although I'm not sure if I'd agree. Regardless of the ranking, both of these are incredible movies, which can't exactly be said about the 2 sequels that followed. I'll get to the first of those, Alien 3, next week, but until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Hey guys, thanks.
Alright, do you have it? So, now, here's the daily. I said this is Alien and Predator, which will lead to Alien versus Predator. So that being said, we're going to go in chronological order, and we're not going to go to Alien 3 yet. We're going to go to the next one that came out a year later, which is the first Predator. So we got an idea of what the Alien was all about with the first 2 films, somewhat before we get to the prequels. But for now, we got an idea what the Alien was about. Now, next few video in the franchise reaction will be the side of the Predators, how they came about in a way before we get to Prey, the prequel. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.